Hey everybody, I'm Laura with Switch-Pros, and we have had a huge number of requests for a mounting solution for the Jeep JL. So I'm going to actually show you what we sell in our kit. This is designed to work with our Switch-Pros SP9100 Switch Panel Power System, and it's sold separately and directly from our company. This is actually the power module mounting plate. You'll notice that it has angles. It's custom built and bent in order to accommodate installation inside the very limited amount of space that we have on the Jeep JL. This is actually the ground cable that we include. This is for grounding accessories, not for the system itself, and it will help you attach actually to the power module mounting plate. We include an ADA circuit for the ignition signal, a push-on connector, a rubber grommet, a hardware kit, a reinforcement plate that actually holds the touch panel stable when it's in place mounted in the A-pillar, a replacement cap for the A-pillar, a spacer to allow the offset in the A-pillar so that the switch panel actually steps out beyond the A-pillar, and the directions. First step is actually to affix the power module to the mounting plate. The hardware is included in the switch panel power system kit. This actually, we also added the grounding stud. This is part of the JL mount kit. We also attached the grounding cable to the back. We're going to move over here to the side of the vehicle where you'll see that we've already mounted the power module mounting plate and the power module and got it all set in place. We actually ran the ground wire for the accessory grounding from the back of our power module mounting plate over to a chassis ground, and then grounded our system, and we've run the ground wire alongside the battery and over to the negative terminal, making sure that we added a loop for strain relief. Now we're going to run the battery cable. We've run it down here along the side of the battery and connected it to the positive post as you see it right here. Next step is actually to run the communications cable, which will actually run along the fender and along the cowl area. We're going to give you a quick demonstration on how to free this plastic piece so that you can run it cleanly along the back and have it covered up nicely. Using a flat blade screwdriver, carefully insert into the retaining tabs along the firewall and separate the cowl from the plastic housing. Before we get any further, let's address vehicles with a dual battery system. This mounting plate is actually designed to also mount over on the driver's side up against the firewall. It's pre-drilled and can use existing studs there as well. The next step is to connect the ignition wire. Please note that the JL kit includes a micro 2 ADA circuit rather than the one that comes with the main system. We inserted it into the F52 fuse slot. Steps for doing that: remove the fuse that's currently in that slot, put it in the empty slot on the ADA circuit, and then replace this into the empty cavity, and you'll crimp your blue ignition wire into this portion of the butt splice. The other big connector you see plugged into the power module is actually the output accessories wires. These are actually the power leads that are going to allow your accessories to communicate with the power module. That's how you get those really cool Baja Designs lights flashing, strobing, how you turn your light bar on, how you turn your pods on, and those are actually a direct connect. All the information about how to connect those is in the instructions of the switch panel power system. I'm going to pick up where we left off in talking about running the communications cable in through the firewall to the cab of the vehicle where it will connect to the touch panel. This is what the communications cable looks like. Notice this small white connector. What we did is down below there are two pass-throughs, and through one of those pass-through plugs we drilled a hole, we fed the white connector through, and then we took this rubber grommet that's part of the JL mount kit, sliced down the side to open it up, slid it around the cable, and popped it right into the hole that we drilled and sealed it with RTV. To attach the white lights wire, and that's the wire that actually allows you for dimmable backlighting during nighttime driving, we want to connect to the marker light. To access the marker lights wire, we use a trim tool and remove the plugs that hold the plastic fender liner in place. We're going to use a TAPA circuit on the white with brown stripe wire and connect our white wire like so. The first step for removing the grab handle and installing the switch panel is to actually remove the speaker cover that's along the dash driver's side. It pops right out. Next, you remove the cap at the top of the grab handle and use a 10mm socket to loosen and remove the screw. You'll repeat the process to also do it at the bottom of the handle. And then you're ready to install the switch panel. The next thing we're going to do is actually drill a hole in the A-pillar for the pass-through of the switch panel harness. This is Robert. He's going to do the manly stuff. He's going to drill a pilot hole, and it's going to be halfway between the two factory holes, the rectangular here and the circle here. And he's going to change to a step drill bit. And what size is that, Robert?
5/8.
5/8 step drill bit. Center it right above where he put the pilot, or right into the pilot hole. That'll provide the perfect size hole for the pass-through of the switch panel harness.
Done.
There you have it. Here we're going to show you how to do the pre-assembly of this touch panel. You attach the bracket that's part of the JL mount kit with these screws, making sure you leave it loose so that there's some play. Then you slide the cap over the communications cable and then feed the bracket, the L portion of the bracket, through the hole in the cap. Then you're going to insert the bolt through the hole of the bracket and add the spacer. There you have it. Now we're ready to actually install it into the A-pillar. Next step is actually to take the switch panel assembly and install it into the A-pillar. The white connector is going to go through the 5/8 hole that we just drilled. It's going to be a snug fit, but it will fit in there. Position the spacer into the existing factory hole. And now you're in position to tighten it from the back. Now remember, we ran the communications cable along the cowl area and into the cab through the firewall. The critical part is this white connector here. We need to feed it up through the dash, and that's where our switch panel that we're going to secure in the A-pillar is going to plug in. So we've snapped the grab handle in place and fed the switch panel pigtail down and connected it to the communications cable. Now that the grab handle is in position, we're going to tighten the switch panel with a 5mm Allen wrench. When we get it locked into place, we're actually going to rotate the cap, snap it into place, and then we're going to adjust the switch panel based on height. That's totally up to you. We're using a 7/64 Allen wrench to tighten the screws in the back. The last step in this process is to reinstall the factory hardware using a 10mm socket. Once that's tight, you pop the cap back into place and you are good to go. A key feature of our SP9100 switch panel system is the external triggers that we offer. In this case, we've decided to connect the pink wire, which is trigger 1, to activate some of our Baja Designs lights when we hit the high beams. Next, we enable the external trigger function in the app and then toggle it at the panel. That way you can utilize this function when you're off-road, and you can toggle it when you're on the highway. So you toggle by pressing the Switch-Pros logo and the switch number 7, which is the upper right corner of a horizontal panel. To disable, you press the same series of keys, which would be the Switch-Pros logo and again, the top right corner. Last thing to do is button things up, put your tools away, and hit the trail.